something that we rarely have occur in our county, and you know, we're very active as far as trying to keep things like this from occurring.
A homeowner was airlifted to UK hospital after he was shot during a violent home invasion.
The Lexington Humane Society is now dealing with dozens of extra kittens, where employees say they found the animals when they got to work this morning.
They're also looking for checks with account numbers, routing numbers. They're looking for any credit card numbers that they can obtain through the mail.
How safe is it to leave outgoing mail in your mailbox? You'll be surprised to know the answer coming up.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening. The search is on tonight for a man police say shot another man during a home invasion.
Investigators are looking for 20-year-old Cody Staten. They say he shot a man after breaking into a home on Esther Spur Road in Lincoln County last night. WKYT's Phil Pendleton is tracking the investigation. He has our top story at 5:30.
Take a look. This is the man police say they want to question after they say he put a homeowner in the hospital, shooting him after breaking into his home on Esther Spur Road in the Waynesburg community of Lincoln County.
Well, the homeowner says he didn't know the perpetrator, but through our investigation we got a name, and during the investigation last night we located items that belonged to Mr. Staten.
Police say they also found items that belonged to the victim, a 57-year-old man who was airlifted to UK hospital after being shot in the leg. We're learning that the homeowner was already vulnerable because we are learning from neighbors that he had just been released from the hospital.
From my understanding, the victim had already had some medical issues, and no, he did not try to fight the perpetrator.
Casey County jail records show that Staten was just there in August on cattle theft charges. In this case, police say he got away with cash and prescription meds after allegedly shooting the victim.
This is something that we rarely have occur in our county, and you know, we're very active as far as trying to keep things like this from occurring.
We're told the victim remains at UK hospital in fair condition. In Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say there was another person in the home at the time, but she was not hurt. If you are planning to get some Christmas shopping done this weekend, you couldn't ask for better weather.
Unreal. Warmer temperatures are pushing into the area, and we could see some record highs this weekend. Chris, this is really very rare, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know what? To get a prolonged period like this of well above normal temperatures in December, we are talking about, indeed, records coming up over the weekend. Though you only have to go back till December 22nd of 2013 to find the last 70. For Lexington right now, mid-60s showing up into most of central and eastern Kentucky, Frankfort, Jackson, Lexington, and Corbin. Everybody with a mostly cloudy sky, but those mild temperatures. We range from 70 into Bowling Green to 60 into the Maysville area of northeastern Kentucky. Those thermometers will only reach the upper 50s and low 60s over the next several hours. In part thanks to some cloud cover that is out there. And we've had the on and off clouds today, not producing precipitation, but that surge of warm air coming in from the southwest. The Gulf of Mexico basically is wide open for business. Record high temperatures over the next few days. Then high winds will move in as we put the wraps on the weekend for Sunday night into Monday. And it's a start of a work week that will feature a rare appearance from wintertime. We'll talk about some honest to goodness December-like weather showing up in the 7-day forecast when I come back in a few.
Should off-duty police officers be able to bring weapons into a public venue? That's the question some people in Louisville are asking. 4 off-duty police officers in Louisville were turned away from a concert this week for carrying concealed weapons. 3 Louisville Metro police officers and 1 Jefferson County Sheriff's deputy were searched while trying to get into country music star Lee Brice's show at the Palace, which has a strict no weapons policy. And now the FOP in Louisville is trying to get that policy changed. We asked Lexington Police Chief Mark Barnard what he thinks about off-duty officers being able to carry concealed weapons.
In a day and time that we're looking at public safety issues, and with heightened vigilance and asking law enforcement officers to do more, to have more sworn, trained reliable personnel that are able to respond to provide public safety seems to be a no-brainer.
The CEO of the Lexington Center, Bill Owen, says that on-duty and off-duty sworn police officers are permitted to bring their weapons into an event at Rupp Arena and any Lexington Center venue. But if a promoter of an event at those locations does not want officers to bring weapons, they will not be allowed to have them.
State police arrest a man after an online undercover sting. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Pulaski County. 21-year-old Daniel Jaron faces child pornography charges. The Kentucky State Police Electronic Crime Branch says they began investigating Jaron after they observed him sharing images online. Investigators seized computers from his home. He's now in the Pulaski County Detention Center on a $10,000 bond. In Laurel County, nearly a dozen puppies rescued from a collapsed home now have temporary homes. Earlier this week, Chuck Young and his girlfriend say they heard a noise coming from a home in their neighborhood. Inside the collapsed home, they found 11 puppies not far from their dead mother. Young rescued the puppies and helped nurse them back to health. The puppies were taken to foster homes in Louisville. Young sent us this photo of 2 of the puppies with their new owners. He says he is thankful that the puppies are doing well.
The Lexington Humane Society received 30 new additions last night. Employees say that someone dumped cats in their parking lot overnight. The cats were found this morning in cardboard boxes. Garrett Weimer's talking to Humane Society leaders who are asking for help fostering and adopting these animals. It's a story that's new at 5:30.
When employees at the Humane Society got to work Thursday morning, they found those cats in 2 cardboard boxes sitting right out here in the parking lot of the administration building. Some of those cats had gotten out of the boxes and were roaming around the property. The Humane Society says they found 20 yesterday and more today. They think now they have them all, 30 in total. The Humane Society says the animals are in pretty good health, despite being abandoned in the parking lot so close to a busy road in an industrial area. But such a large influx of cats all at once comes at a difficult time for the Humane Society. Donations, they say, are down, while the number of animals they're caring for is up.
I do want the community to consider giving to the animals when they're considering their charitable giving this holiday season. Don't forget the animals, because they really do enrich our lives, and we do everything that we can to care for the animals in your community.
Hammond says those kittens found out here are as young as 4 weeks old. She says they'll be put in foster care until they're ready for adoption. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Hammond says they're looking for people willing to foster, adopt, and donate.
Drivers in a Kentucky community received quite a surprise this week after being pulled over by police. Instead of tickets, deputies were handing out cash. The Warren County Sheriff's Office says they received a donation of more than $10,000. The donor's only request was to give the money to those in need.
Extremely surprised. This made my day. I can say that. This made my day.
I was scared. I was a little nervous. I kind of had a rough week. I just found out I was sick, so it's kind of been a rough week, and this is a blessing.
Deputies stopped 100 drivers to surprise them with $100 bills. This is the second year the department has handed out the money.
You might think your mailbox is off limits to con artists. Well, think again. Postal inspectors often find your mailbox can be an easy target for thieves.
We first noticed we had some mail that was scattered down the road.
Jeff McAfee and his family didn't think much of it. He thought the wind blew the box open. Then
had another package that we had ordered and had a tracking number and tracked it, and supposedly it was delivered. Never saw it.
Now they were suspicious and called the local post office to report the problem. Jeff wasn't alone. Several neighbors had reported missing packages and mail.
You feel a little violated, you know.
So postal inspectors decided to set up a sting operation.
And asked them if they would be willing to participate in having a test gift card placed in their mailbox with the red flag up.
Inspectors tracked how the gift cards were used.
I was able to obtain surveillance video from Target retail store.
Evidence quickly led authorities to Nathan Arnold, who was delivering newspapers in the neighborhood. Inspectors say more is at stake than just cash and gift cards.
They're also looking for checks with account numbers, routing numbers. They're looking for any credit card numbers that they can obtain through the mail.
The best way to avoid ID theft and losses is to drop all outgoing mail at a post office or blue collection box.
It was kind of a surprise to me that, you know, somebody would be rifling through the mail, and that, you know, you just have to be kind of careful, make sure that you pick up your mail diligently.
The suspect, Nathan Arnold, was charged with mail fraud and was sentenced to 3 years probation. The battle for control of the Kentucky House continues.
And 31 new officers graduate from Lexington's Police Academy, what the police chief says officers in today's law enforcement will have to deal with. Bill Bryant has the bottom line.
Good evening. At least 3 special elections are on the horizon to fill seats in the Kentucky legislature. The latest is opening up because of Governor Matt Bevin's appointment of State Representative John Tilley to be Justice and Safety Secretary. Tilley is a Democrat from Hopkinsville, and there will be special elections to fill the House seats of Mike Harmon of Danville, a Republican who's been elected state auditor, and in Scott County, where GOP Representative Ryan Quarles will vacate his seat when he takes over as Kentucky Agriculture Commissioner. House Speaker Greg Stumbo acknowledges concern that other Democrats could switch parties or be appointed to positions in the new Republican administration. With the current vacancies, Republicans would have to win the seats that are up for grabs and have 4 party switches to take control of the House for the first time since 1921. 31 new officers graduated from Lexington's Police Academy this week, and Chief Mark Barnard, who has spent his entire 30-year career at the department, says he's very proud of the class. He says officers starting out today enter law enforcement in a very different time.
Think about it. If you really need someone, you're going to tell someone something that you trust, that you know that they'll do something with. All the surveys that come out, they talk about crime is, if I trust the law enforcement community, if I trust the law enforcement officers, I'm more apt to tell them because I know something will happen, and they'll be honest with me. And if you have that level of trust with them, whether it's a parent or the child, then you're more apt to tell them and give them information.
The chief encourages his officers to be involved in the community. He says the goal is to continue adding officers in the next year. We talk about a range of issues on Kentucky Newsmakers. You can also see highlights of Governor Bevin's inaugural address. Kentucky Newsmakers airs Sunday morning at 6 on WKYT. It repeats Sunday at 10 a.m. on the CW Lexington. Set your DVR or catch it then. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul said to be in danger of losing his spot on the main stage in the upcoming Republican presidential debate on CNN. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie has been improving his showing in the polls and could win the podium away from Paul. We'll keep watch on that. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
They are one of the most popular gifts this holiday season, but the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is investigating 10 reports of hoverboard fires in 9 different states. Some airlines say they don't want the scooters on their planes because of concerns the lithium-ion batteries inside can catch fire. Cell phones, tablets, and laptops use low-wattage lithium-ion batteries, which fall within FAA regulations. Sean Kane, the founder of the Safety Institute, says the popular products may eventually be recalled.
They're considered toys, but in fact they're not. So at the end of the day, you have a product that doesn't have to meet any safety requirements and is finding its way to the U.S. market.
Airlines aren't the only ones moving away from hoverboards. Online retailer Overstock.com says it will stop selling the popular product due to growing safety concerns.
Now,